Hey, it's Kiki Love. I'm here with Nick Schleckaway, founder, CEO of Amherst Madison. Brother, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Pleasure, man.
So listen, we're getting ready for Cycle to Break the Cycle, and one thing that gravitated, I wanted to call you about was just first, you said however I can do to help. Mm-hmm. Why is this important to you?
And that goes back a long ways. It's important to me personally because I have a belief that unto whom much has been given, much should be required, which actually comes from the Bible, but is something I just live my life by, and I've always believed in that. The first time I heard it actually was my high school football coach. It wasn't from the Bible. Turns out he was just ripping off Jesus. But he kind of
never heard.
He kind of just took credit for it, and then I found out later, like, oh, that's actually in the chapter Luke in the Bible. So, no, in the book of Luke. But I've always kind of lived my life that way, and I've been blessed with so many things in my life. I mean, I've had trouble, shortcomings like everyone has, but I've also, been very blessed and opportunity. So I have felt, obligated is not the right word, but I felt a duty to give back in ways that I can and to reinvest in ways that I can. So on a personal level, this has been important to me my entire life.
Well, I hear it in meetings. This is nothing new, and neither is when you drive and you're going to the mall or something, you drive by Amherst Madison and you see the name, it's a cool name. But that name comes from somewhere. Yeah. So a lot of this giving back and stuff, Amherst Madison, that comes from a special place too.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to build a company, going back 10 years ago now when we started this, I wanted to build a company that stood for something that was a little bit more than just, in our industry, real estate. It was selling real estate. And that's reflected in the people that have been attracted to it that have come here. I mean, if you talk to the agents, they're here and they believe in more than just making money and selling real estate. They're here for a bigger reason. You're one of those people, and there's a lot of other examples of that. And that reason is reinvesting, supporting community, giving back, having the opportunity to help other people that aren't as fortunate, or maybe people that are facing some of the same hardships that we face. So the name of the company was actually two cancer survivors I met through Make-A-Wish, Idaho when I was a volunteer there in college. A girl and a boy named Amherst Madison who had recovered from leukemia. And that was a kind of a random story I told one night when me and a couple of the agents that we found that this started with were kind of kicking around ideas on what to call it. And it just stuck. It was extremely difficult to name this company because I had a long laundry list of things that I wanted the name to accomplish. But I was telling a story about volunteering experience because somebody had asked me that question, like, well, what's important to you? Maybe we can tailor the name around something like that. And I told a story and those kids' names popped out and it stuck. But it's symbolic of something that's much bigger than the day-to-day of selling real estate. And I think that's what's important. That's what resonates with people.
So I wrote this down. It starts off with, I thought this was a brokerage, real estate advisors.
Yeah, I saw that.
I remember giving away some Christmas trees, and when I left radio, these are things I did in the industry, and people looked to me to do stuff like that, and so I was like, you read something and something clicks in you. Yeah. And I just remember you messaged me and going, what do you need? And how many Christmas trees do you need? And the looks on people's face, but like I said, I thought this was a brokerage.
It's not?
I mean, what does that have to do with the transaction? And I find I find this interesting because when I'm in these meetings, this goes simultaneous with everybody else. How can I donate Christmas trees? How can I help with your child abuse eviction? By the way, it's still there. How can I help you on your negotiation? I thought this was a brokerage.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, right?
It is, but that goes back to that's the mission in action, right? I mean, it's one thing to say that that's our mission or say that's what we care about, but what you're describing now is the mission in action. It's people putting their money where their mouth is, their time where their mouth is, their energy where their priorities are, and saying, how can I help? So we have people like you, who are out there, who are in it, who are pushing these causes forward, and we love nothing more than jumping behind something like that, and somebody like you and supporting you. So for me, it's just so exciting and it's so easy to support somebody like you that's doing something with Faces and all the other nonprofits you've supported over the years.
Something interesting to me that stood out, we talked a little bit before I came over here, and it's been, less than a year.
Yeah.
And it's powerful. Like when you're walking down the hallway, and you have different ages, different teams. And I remember seeing Matt Boucher was speaking, and I walked up to him because I loved everything that he said because it was so simple, it was raw. And I said, "Hey man, appreciate it, thank you much, Kiki Love." And he goes, "Kiki, man, I listened to you on the radio." He goes, "You're gonna kill it, you're gonna crush it.
Yeah.
You got a great following." He goes, "But if you ever need anything, I'm just down the hallway. Katie McFerrin, the same thing. Can you host one of my open house this weekend?" Now, mind you, this is a $1.5 million home that she's letting me go in, and I represent my own brand, but I represent her brand, and Amherst Madison, and she trusts me. If you need anything, call me.
Yeah.
What does that say about if you could give a message to anybody? Because I think it's important because you're the first in front to help me with my just giving back in philanthropy. What do you want people to know about Amherst Madison and the people that are down the hallways that you run into and are representing the brand?
I think that I would want people to know how supportive and collaborative this environment is, and that yes, we have productive agents, we have the most productive agents in the state of Idaho, but more importantly, they are willing to share what they know and share their resources and share their expertise with the other agents in the building. And that forms a culture and forms an environment that is extremely motivating, it's powerful to be a part of, and it helps us become the best version of ourselves. It truly does. We can never excel, in a vacuum. We can never become the best version of who we are in isolation by ourselves. We need other people around us to kind of bring that out, and that's what this environment is all about. And listen, real estate can be a very lonely, isolating business. I've experienced that. A lot of us have experienced that at different brokerages. I never wanted this to be that. I never wanted this to be lonely, isolating, petty, kind of backbiting, a lot of the stuff that goes on in different parts of our industry. And so that's just a huge part of who we are. But that's a tremendous value to people. And I think sometimes when they come into it, like you're expressing, it's almost a surprise. Like I thought this was a brokerage. It is a brokerage, but it's a brokerage that's just a little bit different than what you're gonna find.
Well, it's exciting. It's exciting to know that you have so much support throughout the hall from people that don't know you. I mean, look, I did radio for a long time, so you run into people that listen to you on the radio and they say funny things that you said. So that's exciting and it's fun. So you feel like you're at home a little bit, at least for me. But again, I've never met them before. And I'm walking down the hall today and it's like, hey, we're gonna come jump on a bike, or we're gonna come cycle and break the cycle with you. And just that giving back is cool. Same thing when I watched other agents do stuff for the holidays and for Idaho Food Bank. And I'm just one additional piece to this big puzzle.
Yeah.
It goes up and down the hallways, and I think that's exciting, and I appreciate that. Probably the most exciting thing for me as a newer agent was the fact that I can walk downstairs and I can learn. And I think if you're trying to succeed and be the best of you can, you're always trying to learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you can get an email that says, hey, there's a meeting if you're interested about closings or about whatever that thing is from tomorrow to noon, be here, and you walk down and the biggest powerhouses in there, sitting down, laughing and joking with you, to me, that's the top piece. That's the cherry on the top. So I just want to appreciate you for all that. And thanks for supporting me and supporting everybody on that. I think that says a lot about who you are, and I feel at home because that's who I am. So.
It's easy to support people like you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate
it's
that.
easy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you.